Hey guys, good morning. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. This is Dr. Lisa coming to you from Tampa, Florida, traveling and experiencing this journey with you on the front lines as a primary care practitioner where we are still seeing patients. I'm trying to support you with science that's not overwhelming and lift you up with some positive affirmations and actionable things that you can do for your health at home today. So what struck me over the weekend that I wanted to share with all of you today is the constant changing and science that's coming out in general around COVID-19. We talked briefly about this last week, but the idea now has become more prevalent, and I've seen some interesting science. It's not been proven yet, but there are people all over the world starting to question if what is bothering people that leads them to mechanical ventilation and severe respiratory failure, whether or not it's even a pneumonia. And they're starting to say it looks more like a complex blood issue. So this I found incredibly interesting because it would explain as well why things like hydroxychloroquine are working, because it seems that this virus is able to get inside of our red blood cells and displace the hemoglobin and oxygen so that the red cells can't carry oxygen. But in addition, that releases inflammatory particles called porphyrins. And that's why that may be what triggers the cytokine storm that we've been talking about, the generalized inflammation. So, this is not proven science just yet. There was a pulmonary critical care doctor that came on YouTube pleading people because he noticed that the typical ventilator settings for ARDS related, which is acute respiratory distress syndrome, related problems in typical flus did not seem to be working in COVID-19 patients. And if in fact it's more of a blood disorder, that would make a lot more sense. So what's happening is instead we need assistance in hyperoxygenating our lungs, which means things like hyperbaric oxygen, which we'll talk about more maybe later this week, because I have a close colleague who has done a lot of research in hyperbaric and just really upping oxygen without forcing it into the lungs using a ventilator. So a lot is going to unfold if this is in fact a different mechanism of action of this virus, that it's more blood related than we thought. And along those lines, I wanted to share with you something you guys could try at home that involves also releasing what we thought was true to embrace what's coming. So that's just an exercise now that you have still some moments of quiet. Hopefully, I know I am finding it harder and harder to find those moments, but if you can, take out a pad, and this is going to be a letter, so I don't want it on your phones or iPads or computers. Just handwrite it, and you can write it to yourself. So I want you to just write it to your own name and thank yourself. Go through all the hard things that you have been through in this lifetime and show some love and gratitude and appreciation. And allow the end of the letter to just be open-ended. Just like we don't know quite how this story with the COVID-19 is going to end, how the science is emerging, and how we just have to stay present and shift as we learn more and more. You will be able to do that as well by living in the moment, by thanking yourself for all that you've been through, by embracing what's to come. So for now, in terms of health-wise, I want you to focus a lot on breathing exercises, the deep breathing ones, whether you choose the Wim Hof method, whether you have a spirometer at home from one time if you had surgery, just try to fill it up. You want to get those lungs as expanded as you can, because the more hyperoxygenated you can get, that's now proving to be one of the more important things if you were to contract COVID-19. Free radical scavengers such as the vitamin C, vitamin A, vitamin D, all the other supplements we've discussed are still incredibly helpful. So stay on your supplements, and I'll leave you with an affirmation. So the affirmation for today is I acknowledge and accept who I was, and I fully embrace the light that I am. I acknowledge and accept who I was, and I fully embrace the light that I am. Hope that helps. Thanks for joining me. Have a wonderful week. Hopefully we will see some of you guys here tomorrow. Take care.